So last night, just as we were saying to ourselves, you know, we are trading gods and we've done so well with alts and we cannot lose. That's always, whenever you get that feeling, it's always the feeling you get before a setback. And that's what we're seeing. So first of all, we had a Bitcoin go on the rampage, break through resistance, which was great. And that made the alts look not very good. And then when Bitcoin pulled back overnight, we really haven't seen much of a recovery in most alts. So why has this happened? As you know, we look at ETH Bitcoin as our indicator. So ETH Bitcoin, the only level I can find here really are these prior lows, which I suppose are important. It's a double bottom here. And the 50% level, so it's like a pivot level from the low that we made in 2017 to the high that we made in February. We're back testing this 50% level from underneath. What we really need to see in Ethereum Bitcoin now on this pullback is to hold support where the daily moving averages are all bunched up and they're all really almost in the same place, around 64,700. But because this is a 50%, I'm going to do the 50% the other way. And if we look at this, you can see that it lines up exactly where all of these moving averages are. So what we're looking for is a pullback to 64,596 to hold as support in Ethereum Bitcoin. Otherwise, I think if we see a daily close below these moving averages, then that's going to be pretty bearish in our system. And then we're going to be looking for another leg lower, probably down to the 786 fib down here, which wouldn't be good, and an extension of this rally, so maybe 45 or 47. So quite important support at 64,596. I don't mind if we have a look below, but a daily or weekly close below that level for me would be quite bearish for Ethereum up against Bitcoin. So that's what I'm looking for in that one. So what does that mean for Bitcoin and ETH US dollar? And does it mean that Ethereum US dollar is not going to go up anymore? No, Ethereum US dollar will go up just like all crypto assets. As if everything's going up, it'll go up. But it will underperform Bitcoin. That's all it means. And usually when Ethereum underperforms Bitcoin, it's not alt season. So this is our alt season indicator. So we'll come back to Ethereum US dollar, which has really good support around 600 in a minute. But let's talk first of all about Bitcoin and what's doing and why we've stopped here. If we put fib retrace we've stopped first of all at the daily 200 moving average. That's a really, really big deal, the daily 200 moving average. And so the first time we come back to it, we would expect a knockback there. It's also, though, from the high to the low here, the 61.8 fib. So let me put this on the right where we can see it and mark these levels a bit brighter so we can see them. Here like this. Because reversals at a 61.8 fib usually come back to the 382, which would mean a bigger pullback here in Bitcoin US dollar back to 84.71 if, and there's a big if, we break the pivot in the middle, the 50%, which is 9,100. So we've got two support levels in Bitcoin US dollar now, 9,100 and 8,471. I don't know which one will support it. I could make a really good argument for both. You know, 9,100 is a back test to this 236 fib level, and if we go down on our time frames, it's also where our hourly 20 moving averages, 4-hour 20 moving averages. And if we go down, to an hourly, you know, on all time frames, I can find some pretty good support level there. So maybe what we see is an ABC correction, something like that. So how this correction unfolds will tell us whether this is a correction or we're in a new downswing and we should cover up completely. So we don't know yet, but 9,100 and 8,400 is where I'm looking for support. And if we go back to the daily of Bitcoin chart and take a look here, I think if we go back and close and hold below 8,400, then that would be back below not only the 200 moving average, but the daily 20. I think that then we would be looking for a much deeper pullback and potentially a retest of the lows. So I'm not feeling it at the moment. I still think that we're in a bit of a short squeeze. I don't think we've unwound all of the short positions yet. And think about it this way: if you sold Bitcoin here, so if you know we had this bounce and here's your and you sold Bitcoin again up here on this double top, and we got below the 200 moving average again, where would you keep your stop? You would have your stop probably either just above the 200 moving average or just above these highs somewhere. I think that there will be a bunch of stops up here, and if we can break through this level, then we'll see a more upside. But for now, we're in a correction, and most crypto is in a correction. So we need to kind of go through everything and see where are we pulling back for. And this is where it becomes important, you know, whether you were in an uptrend or not. Because if you were in an uptrend, like, for example, Ethereum, you'd reverse the downtrend and you were above all those daily moving averages, then you're going to look for them to be support when you come back and test them. So, for example, ETH US dollar here, we're looking for it to be support around 600, retest this 236 fib and bounce back and potentially hold this 200 moving average on the retest. And so on.